everybody, it's Jenna. I'm back today to cover a piece of breaking news that is just too fun for me not to talk about. Deadline is reporting that Stranger Things and Fear Street star Sadie Sink has joined the cast of Spider-Man 4 in a currently unknown role. The project, which will begin filming later this year, will see Tom Holland returning as Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings director Destin Daniel Cretton stepping in to direct. It will be released in July 2026 between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, so there's already been plenty of questions about how the multiverse may or may not factor into the movie. I love Sadie, especially because she's a key part of the Taylor Swift cinematic universe, and I think her joining this cast complicates the multiverse possibilities even further in the best possible way. There are already so many theories about who she's possibly playing, and I have to share my thoughts on them. The most prominent theory, which Deadline's own reporting even acknowledges as a theory, is that she's playing Jean Grey, as a prelude to Marvel Studios' eventual X-Men reboot. While Sadie has been heavily rumored for that role amid the flurry of X-Men casting speculation, and I fully expect that we will know more about the X-Men movie by the end of 2025, I have trouble believing that this is the direction that they're going in. Jean and Peter have had very occasional moments together in the comics, but it would be kind of a major curveball to introduce her, and by extension the entire mutant status quo, in a supporting capacity in a Spider-Man movie. Granted, it would continue the tradition of Peter having to share his movie with another Marvel concept, but it just seems way too big for everything that this movie already has to do. There's also the theory that Sadie is playing a variant of Mary Jane Watson, which is a massive can of worms. I have grown to like Zendaya's take on MJ in the first trilogy, but I will always mourn the world where her characterization and her style could have been closer to comic MJ. Zendaya and Tom's real-life energy together, and Zendaya breaking the internet on every single red carpet, proves that we could have had that on screen. I do think there's a larger conversation to be had about the way that Mary Jane has been treated and often disregarded across canon across the past few decades, but casting Sink as a version of her absolutely would not be the way to do that. In this current moment, with the optics of everything, it would be a very frustrating move, especially when we know that Zendaya will be back in some capacity in Spider-Man 4. If anything, I would rather see the ending of No Way Home and the time jump and the move to college create an opportunity to kind of revamp Zendaya's MJ and add even more dimension to her. Of course, there are the other obvious Spider-Man female leads, Gwen Stacy or Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat. I'm not ruling out either of those options for Sadie's character because I definitely think she would be a great fit to embody the qualities of both, plus it would continue the funny track record of redheaded actresses being cast as Gwen Stacy, but of course my heart is leaning a little more towards Black Cat because she has yet to be properly explored on a cinematic level. Felicity Jones was cast as a plainclothes civilian of her in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, with the promise of Black Cat never coming to fruition. And I will forever mourn Silver and Black, the Thelma and Louise-like movie with her and Silver Sable that stalled in development hell at Sony for years. Black Cat's popularity has only grown in recent years thanks to the comics and video games, rightfully so I hope we don't have to wait too long to see her on the big screen. Given the proximity to Secret Wars, I also have to throw out Julia Carpenter, aka Spider-Woman, since she debuted in the original comic event, but that doesn't feel as likely, especially after Sydney Sweeney was pretty good casting for her in Madam Web just last year. This leads me to two more unconventional theories that I am personally kind of hoping for. The first is Firestar, who was created by John Romita Sr., Rick Hoberg, and Dennis Marks for the 1981 animated series Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, after a rights issue prevented them from using the Human Torch. Also known as former X-Men member Angelica Angel Jones, Firestar has control over microwave radiation, which gives her heat-related powers as well as the ability of flight. She was eventually folded into the comics, joining Emma Frost's original roster of the Hellions and later the New Warriors and the Avengers. After surviving the events of House of M and Civil War, Firestar retired from her superhero mantle. She was then modernized in the wild limited series Marvel Divas, which established that her powers led to her being diagnosed with cancer. Since then, she has joined the Young Allies and properly joined the X-Men, eventually helping the latter as a mole to Orcus at the end of the Krakoa era. She currently is part of the newest roster of the West Coast Avengers. After years of people wondering if Liz Allen was eventually going to become Firestar, like she did in the original Ultimate Universe in the comics, I would be so here for Angelica getting properly folded in. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends definitely has a special place in an entire generation's hearts, but Firestar still isn't a character who is anything close to a household name, so there is so much fun that could be had there. There's also precedent for her and Peter having a little bit of a love triangle, also with the Spider-Man mantle, so that would be fun to see potentially realized on screen. And my final theory is that Sadie could be playing Mayday Parker, aka Spider-Girl. Originally created by Tom DeFalco and Ron Frenz in 1998's What If number 105, Mayday is the daughter of Peter and Mary Jane, who eventually becomes Spider-Girl and Spider-Woman in the future. Her success led to the creation of the MC2 universe, which features the teenage children of famous Marvel heroes operating as young superheroes. Mayday's solo series has the honor of being Marvel's longest-running female solo book, and since its conclusion, Mayday has returned in plenty of Spider-Verse events. Through it all, Mayday's existence has provided an opportunity for the comics to reinterpret the Spider-Man origin story for a new generation, while also showing a world where Peter and MJ are happily married without any sort of strings attached. We've already seen Mayday on screen in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, so it would be a delightful escalation of things for her to appear in live action as her own teen superhero. There's nothing saying she couldn't be the daughter of Tobey Maguire's Peter and Kirsten Dunst's MJ, continuing the threads of No Way Home without needing to retread the same sort of spider crossover. Given given the ongoing, enduring love of the Raimi movies, as well as the Secret Wars of it all, it would certainly be a fun choice, especially when juxtaposed with Peter going out on his own. How do you feel about Sadie Sink joining Spider-Man 4? Who do you think or hope that she is playing? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends if you haven't already done so. Merch is available at the link in the description. As always, you can find me on social media at Hey It's Jenna Lynn. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, go read some comics.